Money in motion, a river runs through it. Think of the US economy like a giant fast-flowing river. This river is vast, powerful, and constantly in motion. It's a force of nature that shapes the landscape around it, just as the economy shapes our daily lives. It's loud, it's chaotic, and honestly, it's a little terrifying. The currents are strong, and the water is unpredictable. But within this chaos, there is a rhythm, a pattern that keeps everything moving forward. Now imagine money as the water in that river. Every dollar is a drop of water, contributing to the overall flow. Without these drops, the river would dry up, and the economy would come to a standstill. It's constantly moving, flowing from person to person, business to business, and even between countries. This movement is essential for the health of the economy, just as the flow of water is essential for the health of a river. You earn money from your job, you spend it on groceries, the grocery store uses that money to pay their employees and buy more food, and so on. This cycle of earning and spending is what keeps the economy vibrant and dynamic. This constant flow, this churning cycle of spending and earning, is what keeps the economy alive and well. It's a delicate balance, and any disruption can have significant consequences. Just like a river needs a steady supply of water, a healthy economy needs a good flow of money. If the flow slows down, the economy can stagnate. If it speeds up too much, it can lead to inflation and other issues. This isn't about some Scrooge McDuck money vault. It's not about hoarding wealth, but about keeping money in circulation. When money is hoarded, it's like a dam in the river, disrupting the natural flow. It's about ensuring people have money to spend, businesses have money to invest, and the whole system keeps chugging along. Investments lead to growth, growth leads to more jobs, and more jobs lead to more spending. Now you might be thinking, where does all this money come from? And who decides how much of it is sloshing around out there? The answer lies with institutions like the Federal Reserve, which play a crucial role in managing the money supply. Well, strap in, because things are about to get surprisingly interesting for a topic that usually makes people want to fall asleep. Understanding the flow of money is key to understanding the economy itself. So let's dive deeper into this fascinating subject. From barter to Bitcoin, a short history of how we pay for stuff. Let's rewind the clock a bit, back to a time when money didn't even exist. Picture yourself in an ancient marketplace surrounded by the hustle and bustle of people trading goods. There are no coins, no paper money, just people trying to get what they need through direct exchange. Imagine wanting a new spear, but all you have are some extra animal pelts. You'd have to find someone who not only has a spear but also wants your pelts. This is the essence of bartering. You'd have to find someone willing to trade their spear for your pelts. This system, while functional, was incredibly inefficient. It required a double coincidence of wants. Both parties had to want what the other was offering. That's bartering, folks, and frankly, it sounds exhausting. Imagine the time and effort it took just to find someone to trade with. It was a cumbersome process that often led to frustration and wasted time. Thankfully, humans are clever, sometimes. We started to think of ways to make trading easier and more efficient. The solution? A common medium of exchange. We eventually realized that using a common medium of exchange, like, say, shiny shells or precious metals, made trading a whole lot easier. These items were widely accepted and could be used to trade for a variety of goods and services. This was the birth of money as we know it. These early forms of money were valuable because they were rare and desirable. They made trade more efficient and allowed for the accumulation of wealth. Over time, we got fancy. We moved from using shells and metals to minting coins. These coins were stamped with symbols to guarantee their value and authenticity. We moved from coins to paper money, which was basically a promise from a bank that they had some gold stashed away to back it up. This system, known as the gold standard, made it easier to carry large sums of money and facilitated international trade. Now hold on to your hats, because in the digital age, we've gone even further. Today, we can make payments with the tap of a smartphone or the click of a mouse. Digital payment systems have revolutionized the way we conduct transactions. Say hello to cryptocurrency, where money exists as lines of code, zipping around the internet at warp speed. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have introduced a new era of decentralized finance, where transactions are secure, transparent, and free from traditional banking systems. It's a long way from bartering for spears, but the basic principle remains the same. We need a way to exchange goods and services. Whether it's through bartering, coins, paper money, or digital currencies, the goal is to facilitate trade and make our lives easier. We need a way to exchange goods and services, and money in all its evolving forms is how we do it. From the earliest days of bartering to the latest innovations in digital currency, the history of money is a testament to human ingenuity and our constant quest for efficiency and convenience. The goldsmiths' secret, early bankers, and the birth of paper money. Let's travel back a few centuries to a time when goldsmiths played a surprising role in the creation of money. See, people back then needed a safe place to store their gold. Who better than a heavily guarded goldsmith, right? So, folks would deposit their gold with the goldsmith, who would give them a receipt in return. Now here's where things get interesting. People started realizing that instead of physically exchanging gold every time they made a transaction, they could just trade these receipts. And voila, the earliest form of paper money was born. These receipts were essentially IOUs backed by the gold held by the goldsmith. This system, my friends, was the precursor to modern banking. It laid the foundation for the fractional reserve banking system we use today, which, as we'll soon discover, has some pretty mind-blowing implications for how money is created. Section 4. Money out of thin air, how banks create money through loans. Now let's talk about how banks create money today. This process is not just a modern invention, it has evolved over centuries, adapting to the changing needs of economies and societies. It's a concept that sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but it's very real. The idea that banks can create money seemingly out of thin air is both fascinating and a bit perplexing. You see, banks don't just lend out the money people deposit. They have a unique ability to multiply the money supply through a process called fractional reserve banking. Oh no, they're far more crafty than that. By leveraging the deposits they receive, banks can extend credit far beyond the actual cash they hold. They lend out a multiple of their deposits, effectively creating new money in the process. It works like this. Let's say you deposit $100 in a bank. This deposit doesn't just sit idle, it becomes the foundation for further lending. The bank is required to keep a certain percentage of your deposit on hand as a reserve, let's say 10%. This reserve is a safety net, ensuring that the bank can meet withdrawal demands. The remaining 90%, or $90 in this case, can be loaned out to someone else. This loan is not just a transfer of existing money, it is the creation of new money. Now here's the magic trick. When that $90 loan is deposited into another account, it becomes new money in the system. This is where the multiplication effect begins. That $90 loan, when deposited into another account, becomes new money in the system. This new deposit can then be used to make further loans, continuing the cycle. This new money can then be partially loaned out again, creating even more money. Each cycle of deposit and loan expands the money supply, amplifying the initial deposit many times over. This process, known as fractional reserve banking, is a cornerstone of modern financial systems. It allows banks to support economic activity by providing more loans than they could with just their own capital. Is how banks, with a little help from the Federal Reserve, essentially create money out of thin air. The Federal Reserve sets the reserve requirements and provides the framework within which banks operate. It's a powerful tool that fuels economic growth, enabling businesses to expand and consumers to spend. This, in turn, drives innovation, job creation, and overall economic prosperity. But as with all powerful tools, it needs to be used responsibly. Mismanagement or excessive risk-taking can lead to financial crises, as history has shown. Therefore, both banks and regulators must ensure that this system is used wisely to maintain stability and trust in the financial system. Section 5. Keep it moving. Why money circulation is like blood flow for the economy. Remember our river analogy? Just as a healthy river needs water to flow freely, a healthy economy needs money to circulate. When money circulates, it allows for transactions, investments, and economic activity. It's like the lifeblood of the economy, keeping things moving and grooving. When people spend money, businesses thrive, they hire more workers, those workers spend their wages, and the cycle continues. This multiplier effect amplifies the impact of each dollar spent, stimulating economic growth and creating a virtuous circle of prosperity. However, if people hoard their cash under their mattresses or, in offshore accounts, it can lead to economic stagnation. Money needs to move, baby, move.